This is a Kirkendall Barrett presentation, darling.
You can touch it if you want.
Ladies, if you want to meet a man, check your storage closet.
Come on, Kendall. Take off your shirt and go camera shopping at Best Buy.
Good shirtless, not bad shirtless.
Yeah.
Well, it was gratuitous.
Yeah, it was.
I like a good grizzled man sometimes.
A lifetime of Hallmark.
Well, hello, everybody. It is your favorite day of the week. It is time for another episode of A Lifetime of Hallmark, where we talk about movies on both Lifetime and the Hallmark Channel and try to make sense of them. I am Les Kirkendall Barrett. Hello, Jason Bowers.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett.
And hello, Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett and Jason Bowers. Sound it out.
Right? Sound it out.
Yes.
I'm a little exhausted because, it's the day after Easter and I had a very, very socially packed weekend. And today I'm paying the price.
Les and I saw each other over the weekend, Kurt.
Yes.
Where was this?
The first,
Cool.
actually, the second LA pool party I've been to this year already.
It's
Yeah.
only April.
And
But it's a little late.
it's cold for
Yeah,
LA.
It's been warm here, though.
Yeah.
We
It-
could
it's
have
late.
pool parties here. So, you said this is the second pool party?
Yeah.
But it's late. This is late for pool parties.
It is
Wait.
late for pool parties because the people that had the first pool party, it was cold and rainy that day after it had been planned for several months. So they're doing a redo this weekend.
Oh, how funny.
Okay.
How
A
funny.
rain date.
A redo, a revamp.
All right. It was good? It was Easter
Yeah.
themed, or?
Oh, it was a birthday.
Birthday.
Yeah, it was a friend's birthday. But
Oh,
it was
okay.
fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was lovely out. It was just cold for pool.
And then I went from that party. I have a very good friend who lives in Palm Springs. So, but I also had stuff to do on Sunday morning. So from that party, we hopped in the car, drove to Palm Springs, went to the party in Palm Springs, and drove back the same night.
That's a
We
lot
had
of travel.
brunch on Sunday.
A lot
How
of
far
travel.
away is Palm Springs from LA?
It depends on what time, like 2 hours.
Okay.
So my option was either get up early in the morning and come back, or come back late at night. So I'd rather come back late at night than get up at like 6 in the morning. So
I learned
Would
something
you-
from your husband, which I can't believe I didn't know until now, was that there is a train that goes to Palm Springs.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I will not be taking that train.
I would take it.
Right.
I would rather
you guys-
take the train than drive out.
Are you guys ever going to get that high-speed train that was going to ride through the whole state of California? That sounded awesome.
That's never happening. I mean,
No.
we keep voting and putting more money towards it, but I feel like it's just a shell game that we're all just playing into.
Yeah, I wish it would happen.
Trains.
Yeah. Because they keep
Did you-
selling it as a high-speed train from LA to Vegas, but it's not going to be starting in LA. It's going to be starting like in Bakersfield or something like that. So it's like
Yeah.
you still have to drive an hour to get this so-called fast train.
Actually, Bakersfield is like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you spent some time there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even though it would be great though going to Palm Springs, so what would that be, like half hour, 15 minutes to Palm Springs on a high speed train?
Yeah.
I thought it could help our friends in Fresno because it looked like that was going to be one of the stops.
Right.
That was-
Well,
a
I think
stop,
there is
and
two different
we-
high-speed ones. I think the high-speed one most people are talking about, I guess, is probably the San Fran to LA one. I
Yeah.
don't think that's ever happening. But then there's been all these companies that have been trying to do a train to Vegas.
Yeah. But nothing. But
It seems like it's a cool place to live. But on the other hand, I always hear it's so expensive to live there.
we're Vegas?
No, California, just in general.
Oh.
Like if I ever moved from New Jersey to California, I would just be kind of like
But
going from one
Kurt,
expensive place to another.
I feel like
you'd have
you're close enough to New York where you should be experiencing that now.
I am. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. If I moved out like here to California, it would just be kind of the same situation.
I would
with
say
a little
so.
word. Yeah,
Kurt,
probably about the same. Yeah.
you should
Yes.
you should be saying New York is where I'd rather stay. I get allergic smelling hay. You know that's from, right?
The Wiz?
What? Oh, Kurt.
I don't know
Good
if
day,
that's from.
Scarecrow. And they were in New York, right?
Kurt.
Wasn't that a good guess?
It's from Green Acres.
Oh, Green Acres. Dude, I said The Wiz.
Green Acres.
I've lived in New York. I lived in Brooklyn for
It was Eva
many
Gabor.
years.
How dare you not know the Green Acres fame? How dare you, Kurt? What else? What else? Well,
I've been watching the Brooke Shields documentary on Hulu. That's what I've been
so
up to.
have I. I
watched
finished it.
I
Did you watch
finished
it,
it too.
No.
Pieces at a time. It's good.
It was very good.
It's very good. Yeah, she's very kind to Dean Jones, who she dated, who was in
Dean
That Darn
Cain,
Cat.
not
That
Dean
Darn
Jones.
Cat. Dean Cain.
Wasn't
Not
Dean
kind.
Jones in Gidget?
That Darn Cat.
Herbie. He was in Herbie.
Yeah, he was in Herbie. So she was with him for a while. It was a little bit of a May December romance. And then she was with Andre the Giant. No, Andre Agassi, and she does not speak highly of him.
Well, he was.
No.
Well,
He had problems.
he had issues. Yes.
Yes, he did.
He
And you
had
can
a
do further
reputation
research
for
as soon as
being a bit of a rageaholic, and that's stuff we heard about. So imagine what we didn't hear about.
we had
Yeah.
some addiction issues as well. They'll talk about that in the documentary. You've got to do further reading. He smashed all his trophies. He got mad. She goes on Friends. It's like a huge opportunity for her. This was like I remember when this episode was on. It was on after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And she was like a special guest star, Brooke Shields. So he got mad because she was like kissing Matt LeBlanc's hands.
Yeah.
He said he's mad about that. I think he was mad because she was, doing some stuff on her own there, coming to her own again. Yeah.
Because
She smashed those trophies.
Because that turned out to be like a career define, like that basically facilitated her comeback.
It was because of that she got Suddenly Susan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was on for like 4 years, I think.
I want to know because she didn't talk about it, but I guess she's in a feud with Kathy Griffin about something. Like Kathy Griffin allegedly said something really mean about her or something. But I heard there was an alleged feud.
I've never heard this,
but
she doesn't go into it. You said.
Pardon?
You said she doesn't go into it.
In the documentary, but she was on Howard Stern, and Howard Stern, and she had to leave, and Howard Stern was like, "Damn it, I didn't have time to ask you about the Kathy Griffin feud," and then Brooke just goes, "Oh."
So they could definitely do a sequel.
Yeah.
She also used to work with Bob Hope, and apparently Bob Hope is like really creepy with the ladies. So she probably has some stories about him too. She's got a lot of stories. This could be a regular series.
Remember, he'd always be like, the sexy Suzanne Summers.
Yeah, whoever was like the hot it woman, she would come on to Bob Hope. Yeah.
I'm trying to see what it is that Brooke and Kathy are fighting about. It was something Kathy said in her act, though.
She talks about Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Remember Michael Jackson?
Maybe that was it, because wasn't Brooke close with Michael?
Yeah, they were friends, but he told people they were dating, which she did not like.
Yeah.
No.
So
that's what I've been up to. I'm watching like pieces at a time.
Yeah, but I highly recommend.
Yeah, it was very good. That's the new thing, by the way. Now these like celebrities, when they kind of like run out of things to do, they do a documentary. The next one is Michael J. Fox. His documentary is coming out. I love Michael J. Fox.
It's
this seems to be the new thing.
It's sort of the 2023 version of, I think like maybe back in the 80s and 90s, a star might make a comeback And
Right.
and part of it is because like their old show is in syndication and everyone knows it, so people are familiar. And now there's so many options of content to watch and so many content that's getting rebooted with new casts. They need a new way for us to get reinterested in people we liked in years past.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
and I think
it's working.
Yeah.
I think Michael J. Fox's though is a whole different thing because he
No,
basically
I think it's-
can't work.
It's what is it?
It's a whole big thing because he basically can't work a lot,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Well, Brooke Shields is kind of like young. I would guess that younger people don't even know who Brooke Shields is.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably not.
So this gets her out there, and she's being interviewed. Like you said, she was on Howard Stern, Mark Maron. She's on all these shows, and now Michael J. Fox, his documentary. He's getting himself back out in the world.
By the way, Brooke, if you have any avails, there's a spot for you here on A Lifetime of Hallmark.
Brooke, you're always welcome here. We like you.
Do you
I have
think
a lot
she
of respect for
listens?
her. Yeah, I think she's
And
kind of amazing.
The part that I found interesting, I don't know if you got to that part yet, was when she was on a like when she got out of college and like
Yeah, I
couldn't
did. I
find
saw that.
work and like the stuff she had to do. Like she had to do like shitty commercials and
yeah.
eat lettuce. That one commercial. So yeah, it's I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
And you know who else I recommend? Do you have any artists formerly known as Blac Chyna news?
Doing a piece of China.
China.
I'm talking China.
The Blac Chyna Report. Here's Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, speaking of Easter, this actually is an Easter story involving Blac Chyna. This is from Bossip. It's a gossip, rhymes with gossip. It's Bossip. It's hard for me to pronounce it. We never looked at this website before.
I've seen
anyway,
it
the
before.
headline is Bossip. Okay. Fans criticize Angela Blac Chyna White for dramatic Easter photo shoot, worshiping a colossal cross. Angela Blac Chyna White is taking her personal rebrand to the next level, which has some fans questioning the legitimacy of her motives. On Easter Sunday, the model and former reality star celebrated the holiday by sharing some pictures from a stunning photo shoot. The former OnlyFans heavyweight took to her Instagram page to share pictures and a video of her posing in front of a huge cross, wearing a white and pink body-hugging Lena Berisha dress as she walked across the field to approach the cross. She has a bunch of Bible verses. Watch, stand fast in faith, be brave, be strong from Corinthians. She writes that, and she writes some. And then he said to them, do not be alarmed. You seek Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He is risen. He is not here. And so that's in Mark 16.6. Let's see. For I am with you. No one will attack you to hurt you. Acts 18 says. So she shared all these things. Her last caption simply states, he is risen. While it seems like Blac Chyna is trying to spread a positive message here, a lot of fans are questioning her motives, wondering how she could have pivoted so quickly from a provocative OnlyFans creator to a devoted Christian for Easter Sunday. I love the fake you're trying to rebuild your love bond with God, but it's starting to seem very extra and for clout, one commentator wrote. Praising God doesn't require announcements and showing it off. Praise in silence as well, and blessings will announce themselves. Stay blessed. Another commented, this lady really think this is a trend. This world is crazy. Seriously, LOL, SMH. As the Robin Chyna alum changes her entire brand, one thing remains for sure, the public criticism from her own mother. Yes. Ahead of her dramatic Easter photo shoot, Tokyo Toni questioned her daughter's religious devotion, calling her a fake bitch. Here's what okay, get ready. Okay. All right, she says, I am God's child, not China, claimed the 51-year-old. China is a PR stunt. Come on, bitch, we know better. I don't give a fuck if she don't ever talk to me in life, child. I raised her, had her, taught her. She know everything. This bitch is faking. She continued to blast her daughter in a series of Instagram videos saying, in Jesus' name, stop her right now. Put her on her back. I'm not playing with you, Lord. Take her name out of the last book of life. If she playing with you, Lord, in Jesus' name, we're not going to do that.
Oh.
Following her mother's outburst, that kind of sounds like she, that sounds kind of fatal right there. Anyway, following her mother's outburst, White sat down for an interview with Anthony Lofties, who asked her about her mom's comments and how they've affected her. That's just the devil. That's just the enemy. And guess what? I'm not going for her, she responded. The model refused to comment any further about her mom's antics, saying her name is Angela, not Chyna, so she must not even be talking about her.
Wow. That story has everything. It's got drama. It's got like a little threat of violence. It's got a great description of her outfit in the photos. It's got Tokyo Toni saying nasty things about Blac Chyna. That was amazing.
So first of all, I kind of like Angela quotes Blac Chyna White. I kind of like that. And I can't believe that, like, we're around the same age as Tokyo Toni.
I'm the same age. Yeah,
What's amazing to me, Kurt, is I hadn't heard that story, and we sent you some other Blac Chyna news this week that I thought itself was a huge story. Do you remember that?
So much stuff out there.
No,
it's just.
Go ahead. The one where she now wants to be referred to as Dr. Angela White because she did some online seminary school.
There's just so much. Can't give it all in 1 week.
I think Dr. Blac Chyna would sound better, though.
Listen, this Blac Chyna, it's like how I'm experiencing the Brooke Shields documentary. It's piece by piece. I can't take it all at once.
You know Blac Chyna's probably going to have a documentary.
She doesn't need it. This
a year.
is her documentary. Her documentary is her ongoing life. These celebrities who we haven't heard from a while, they have to kind of catch up and gather all their past stuff and present it out to the world again. Blac Chyna doesn't have to do that because she is the
It's a living document.
Nope. I need a Blac Chyna documentary in my life, like, stat. I need it.
She has to save that for years from now.
I need it.
So the next generation can understand who she is.
I need it in my life. I need a Blac Chyna documentary.
We need it.
I wonder, with this new image change, I wonder if Blac Chyna will end up on a Hallmark movie or Angela Blac Chyna White.
I mean, I think that's possible, but a few years away.
Okay.
Like, you don't do this pivot this quick and expect everyone to completely forget 5 months ago.
True. Yeah, I guess you got to give it a year before your OnlyFans stuff, like, is...
Well, yeah.
But hey...
I don't know. We never see like, Tracy Lords or anybody like that in Hallmark movies. They never quite reach that.
Well, because Tracy Lords was in John Waters' movies.
Yeah, she got to do that.
She was on Melrose Place.
Yeah,
was
I remember
she?
that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I remember that. And then, yeah, John Waters.
Then. Let's see.
John Waters uses her a lot. Her and Patty Hearst.
Patty used to put Patty Hearst in movies, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe John Waters will discover Blac Chyna or Angela Blac Chyna.
No, I think that could work. I'm sure John Waters is very much aware of Blac Chyna.
I would love John Waters to do a Hallmark movie.
I would die in a good way.
That would be amazing.
John Waters is a genius.
In a good way. Like,
I asked John Waters if I could work on one of his movies one time years ago.
What did he say?
Like this is like in the 90s. I was like, I asked if I could be. He said, "Well, it's kind of hard if you don't live in Baltimore." And I said, "Well, I can get myself there."
But think about it. The movie could be about Tracy Turnblad's granddaughter who wants to save Tracy Turnblad's failing record shop. So she goes back to Baltimore from New York.
Well, no, they could do this under the Mahogany label because Motormouth Mabel owns the record store.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Seaweed and Penny could be their grandchildren.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys remember these are Hairspray characters?
Yes.
Yeah.
Seaweed, Penny Pinkleton, You're Punished.
I don't know all these character names.
Penny in the musical movie, the last musical movie because they're redoing it.
Yeah.
Was played by Amanda Bynes.
Yes.
Yep. Now they're because they did the original movie, and then they did the Broadway musical, and then they did the movie of the Broadway musical, and now I think they're doing a movie of it's an onion with an onion. It's they're redoing the movie again.
Shows.
But now my mind is racing. So then Debbie Harry could reprise her role as Edna Van Tussle.
Okay.
We'll have a dead person because Sonny Bono can't come back because he's dead.
Yeah.
We have a hit on our hands.
Wasn't Pia Zadora? We've said that before. Isn't Pia Zadora in that movie too?
Yes, she does a cameo appearance.
Yes.
She plays she's the one that teaches Tracy how to straighten her hair. Her iron.
I always wanted to
iron it.
Pia Zadora's in a movie called The Lucky Lady.
The Lonely Lady.
The Lonely Lady. I always wanted to win an award, like be at like a fringe festival, right? And win an award and give that speech that she gave. It's like, I had to fuck my way to the top.
Okay, so true story. Many years ago, when my family first we were living in Spain, and we got a VCR, and so we would have friends and relatives send us TV shows and movies from the States. So one of the movies they sent us was The Lonely Lady, and I swear to you, I probably watched The Lonely Lady like 100 times. That's how that's how I think my parents knew that I was gay, because I kept on watching The Lonely Lady.
Do you guys ever
friends send you that?
Do you guys ever listen to the Smart List podcast?
No.
Oh, it's the one hosted by Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and Sean Hayes. And this week they had Rob Lowe on, and I guess like whenever you're around Rob Lowe, he always just randomly drops these bizarre, hilariously random, like, oh, once, when I was horseback riding with Saddam Hussein's ex-girlfriend's daughter. Like he has all these weird connections to people. And so they brought up Pia Zadora, and he said that one time he was making out with Gregory Peck's granddaughter. And some woman shouted from above, like, stop that, that's disgusting. You're doing that for everyone to see. And it was Pia Zadora that was yelling at him.
Pia Zadora outrage.
But I just love the randomness of, like, Pia Zadora is yelling at Rob Lowe for making out with Gregory Peck's granddaughter.
And she's outraged.
Yeah.
That is a pop culture explosion.
Yeah, it really was.
I remember the beginning of the movie because Pia was walking down the step and repeat, and then someone said, "Who's that?" And then the person said, "Well, she's got to be important because she doesn't have a date." And then it went to a flashback.
The Lonely
Lady. I remember. I need to find that on YouTube. Anyway,
she might come on the show.
Shall we now go to the Maldives?
Yeah.
Ah.
It's love in the Maldives, right?
Yep.
Love in the Maldives.
Should I give my announcement?
Yes.
This is the profound thought. I think this movie is the most boring thing I've ever experienced. Not just as a movie, but just even as a life experience. I don't know if I've experienced as an adult. I don't know if I've experienced anything as boring as this. And it's given me, like, I feel happy in a way. Like, I feel like...
that you're bored?
No, that I've had an interesting enough life up to this point that I never experienced anything boring before. It feels like something is lifted off.
Is it hopeful that, like, oh, there's... Like, I didn't know there were things this boring. What other things don't I know about out in the world? But isn't that kind of the message of the movie?
Yeah.
No, it's put things in perspective for me. Like, I feel like, I've been living an interesting life. So is it like a spiritual experience in a way? It is.
Well, there you go.
Does it make you want to pose in a form-fitting outfit under a colossal cross?
Yeah.
A pink
I
body-hugging.
Yeah. I want to spread this good feeling that I have from this.
I got to say, though, I gotta say,
Yes.
as boring as this movie was, the guy was very digmatizing.
Oh yeah. He had the most, I mean, he was just hot in general, but his eyes, oh my God.
So
But-
I was like distracted by him.
And it was, I also think hands down, this was the most beautifully shot Hallmark movie. It looked
Oh, it's a beautiful.
gorgeous. And
Yes.
they actually filmed in the Maldives. They weren't cheaping out with this one.
Oh yeah, no, it was a big ad for that. I'd love
yeah.
I'd love to go there.
And
Yeah,
you know who I was jealous of? The woman who played the boss, because that must have been the best job for her ever. Because she didn't have to do much at all and got to go to the Maldives with everybody else.
nice.
Wait, was the boss
Yeah.
in the Maldives at the end of the movie?
She was in the dreams.
During the movie.
Oh, that's
during-
right. She was in the dreams. You're right, Kurt. Okay.
Yeah.
Those are
So-
some dreams, huh?
So think about it.
Yeah, but okay, but this is Hallmark has gone back to these. We've talked about this before. This is a world that sex does not exist, and they started getting out of this, where things started getting a little
Well,
sexy. This movie, no.
I have an answer. Because remember, this is spring, and so it's like wedding month or something. Like it's a month. It's a special month.
I think because I think because it's income tax season, this movie is to be played in the background while people work on their income taxes, and they won't miss anything. You could just look up once in a while, and you can see what's, attractive people in an attractive area, and you could just leave the room for an hour and come
Yeah.
back. You're not going to miss anything.
Well, then you come back and you're like, oh, I'm getting a refund. Oh, I could spend that refund on a trip to the Maldives because it looks gorgeous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I definitely want to go to the Maldives after seeing this movie.
oh, it's
Same.
beautiful.
Yeah. So I looked up the room. Well, actually, I'll get to it when we start talking about that part of the movie once we get there.
So it's the beginning of a Hallmark movie. So we're in an office, and there's a woman who's very busy because she's a Hallmark heroine, and Hallmark heroines are always very busy. Her name is, Kurt, do you have a pun for this name?
What was it?
Because her name is Ray Parker.
Oh, Ray Parker? Yeah. Ray Parker Jr.?
Right.
I had Ray Parker Jr.'s greatest hits when I was a kid, and all the songs were about him cheating on his woman, except one song, which was about busting ghosts. But the rest was like, I'm in love.
Maybe he's.
woman.
I mean, he's cheating through the song Ghostbusters because busting makes him feel
Yeah.
good.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
There's something strange in the neighborhood.
I'm in love with the
Who you
other
gonna call?
woman.
Maybe he's having ghost sex.
Well, didn't you see remember the video? Well, the woman was having ghost sex, or
Well-
she was like a little teddy.
What?
Yeah,
Isn't that
was
Sigourney
in the movie.
Weaver from the movie?
No, it was in the video they had like a cute little blonde.
Oh,
'cause It
okay.
was during the heyday of MTV, so you had to have a cute little
Oh, yeah.
blonde and a teddy. Had nothing to do with ghosts,
But it did have to do with busting making her feel good.
right?
And then Dan Aykroyd, the ghost woman who blew him, she actually passed away recently. So,
Can
Wait.
you, wait.
Legacy.
Wait.
Repeat
You know what I'm
the
talking
words you just said.
I don't know if I'm going to get them straight in that order again. But in the movie, Dan Aykroyd gets blown by a ghost, and that woman passed away recently.
Now, in her obit, did it say she's best known for blowing Dan
I think it
Aykroyd
did.
playing as a ghost?
I believe it. I think it did. Yeah, and it had like a picture from the movie.
Can you imagine if that's her obit in the newspaper and they use a still from the movie?
Yeah, and I think that scene was kind of extended more, but that was the only scene that ends up in the movie.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my, Ray
Well,
Parker
anyway.
Jr.
Anyway, well, Ray Parker III, this woman, she's in her office, and her boss comes in and admonishes her first because she didn't go home after her assignment. She just came straight into the office and went straight to work.
I was
she
immediately.
works. So she's working for this woman. She's mad because she's working too much.
this moment in the movie, and it's so early on, but it made me so angry because they put her at the office. They put Ray's character at the office working hard, and the boss is like upset that she's there working hard. She's been doing travel assignments. She can literally write from anywhere. Why did she need to go into the office to write her travel story?
Because she's lonely.
Well, nobody's keeping her company there.
Yeah.
She also tracked in mud on her shoes, and her boss was mad about that.
Well, because she wasn't raised right, apparently. Because,
You gotta scrape that mud off outside.
So anyway, we find out that she is working for Icon Magazine, which is the magazine for the modern woman. But, so, okay, this is the part that I didn't get. So most magazines are going online, but this magazine is going offline.
No,
right?
they're going on. They have been a traditional print publication. They are merging with Lady Dames, which is an online publication, and they're combining them to make it Lady Icon.
Right, which,
Goodness.
I'm not going to lie, I would read a magazine called Lady Icon. I would.
I feel that in 2023, a magazine called Lady Icon would be geared solely at gay men, and it would be about housewives.
Really?
Yeah, I would read it because I love a lady. I love lady in the title of anything.
I think it'd be about icons who are ladies, like Glenn Close and Margaret Thatcher and Sally Ride.
Lifestyle magazines are writing all kinds of stories about Margaret Thatcher and Sally Ride in 2023.
Well, I just think that would be
Sally
just think they'd
Ride.
be the
Like,
hot topics.
I
of the
just
day.
picture like one of those things. It's like Margaret Thatcher's 10 dating tips.
Right. So her boss is like, listen, Ray, I need you to go to the Maldives. And because your readership is low, your articles are kind of sucking, and you need to get it together, sister.
And
So-
she doesn't want to. She's bummed out she has to do this.
Right.
I'd say, all right, here's your other assignment. I want you to do a job about grave digging. Head out to the graveyard with a shovel.
Right.
Don't come back.
To Pet Cemetery. I want you to go to Pet
like
Cemetery and write an article about that. Oh, so yeah, so she needed to grow her readership because her boss is like, the readers need to get to know you. So get it together, girl. So then we see her on a plane, but it was like a rickety looking plane.
Well, I imagine you need to take one of those like puddle jumpers because the Maldives is it's like a series of tiny islands. Probably not
Yes.
anywhere to land a big plane. I read the biggest island is only 3 miles in square
Oh.
feet. So not a lot more
Where
than that.
is this?
It's like
where
south
is
of
this on the
India.
globe?
South of India.
South of India?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hike.
So she's on a plane. She makes a friend, Deborah, and Deborah was talking about her vision board. And then we're back on the island and we see this very cute guy named Jared, who is very digmatizing.
Well, first scene in the movie, he's shirtless getting out of the water.
Yeah. Yeah. And so he's
Love
talking
the
to
new
his
Hallmark.
coworker. He's talking to his coworker, and he teaches a course. What was the course in?
It was what I wrote it down. It's something in clarity.
Some kind of breathing.
Every time clarity and connection. Every time because they kept saying it over and over. His clarity in connection course, and every time they said it, it made it sound more and more like it was a cult.
Right.
Clarity and connection. When you find clarity and connection.
So, and so this next part was a Fantasy Island ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
Because the plane landed, it looked exactly like Fantasy Island. The people get off of the plane, It looked exactly like Fantasy Island. There was music playing like Fantasy Island.
This must be a thing that really happens at these more exclusive, more hidden away resorts, because they did that on season 1 of White Lotus as well.
Right. And Fantasy Island.
Well, I went to, many years ago, I went to Hawaii. And I know once I arrived, some woman puts like a lei around my neck and gives me like a big smooch.
Right.
So that kind of stuff's happening.
She assaulted you, Kurt.
Right. She couldn't do that
I was
today.
a kid. I was a kid too.
Yeah,
I was like underage.
There was tongue.
She couldn't do. She'd be getting Dalai Lama to
Yeah, it's like the Dalai Lama.
What did the Dalai Lama do? That's something.
It's like a big controversy today. I guess.
I didn't hear about this.
The Dalai Lama's on the verge of getting canceled.
Yeah,
avoid the
and
news
kind
for
of understandably so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What's going on with the Dalai Lama?
He made a joke to a little boy telling him to now suck my tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see how that could be problematic.
Yeah.
And that was a joke, huh? Was he expecting a laugh?
Well, I mean, he says it was, or, his people say that it was meant as a joke, that normally when he's like trying to make a connection with someone, he'll joke around. And I guess they're like touching foreheads and kind of looking each other in the eye. And the boy was getting a little comfortable. He's like, okay, now suck my tongue.
Oh my God.
It was not timed well.
No.
If this was a joke, this joke was not timed
It
well
was
at all.
Dalai Wronga.
Yeah.
I don't want to see his Netflix special if he thinks that was a joke.
So he may be getting his cancellation papers any day now.
It's not to cancel a Dalai Lama. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you got to know where to tread.
So Ray gets off the plane, and she's a horrible, horrible Hallmark heroine because she had no luggage, like none. And like she's like ready to rough it. And I'm like, girl, what is wrong with you?
She needs to work. She wants to work.
Well, you can still bring outfits and outfit changes.
No.
Also, what I thought was kind of a dumb way to write her character was, she's literally a travel writer for a magazine. So she travels all the time. And she was trying to write all this like adventure-y stuff, which is fine. But she was basically making it seem like there was, she would throw away the map. She would kind of go off and do her own thing. It's like, you need some sort of knowledge and resources before you go off the grid anywhere in the world.
Right. But now, Jason, you brought up an idea. I would have loved to have seen her on the second White Lotus. On the boat with the gays.
Oh, yeah.
No. That season was very sexy. It was the opposite of this show, this movie.
This movie had some moments that felt sexy.
Yeah. So I got to tell you, as boring as this movie was, I loved the room or the place where she stayed.
Absolutely.
I loved that.
So that room, because we see this resort, it's called the Murata, but in real life it's called something else, and I looked it up. So so I priced the room. So if you were to stay in that room, checking in on a Thursday and checking out on a Monday, and I priced it for the last weekend of this month. Take a guess for
Take a guess.
what is that?
Good.
Thursday, Friday,
so what is it now? You said it's from
for
Thursday
4
to
nights,
Monday.
Thursday to Monday, 4 nights.
And we're staying in this room it's like an aquarium.
In that room, which is like it's like an exclusive suite. It's a 2-story suite.
Oh, okay. So for a weekend, I'm going to say for a weekend, that is $10,000.
I would say $30,000.
It's $16,090. And then if you add the all-inclusive package, it's a total of $16,340. So it's only like $200 more, and you get all your food and some beverages too.
Right.
Okay.
Wow.
But at that point, you've spent $16,000. I think you can afford it.
That, like, seriously, I've never been bowled over by a Hallmark movie set like that.
Same.
Yeah, that was beautiful, and they used it a lot.
Well, you should.
fish tank.
Because she at first she just walks in the room and it's huge. It's a massive suite. There's like a bar and a kitchen. There's lots of seating, and then you find out, oh, there's another floor. You go downstairs and it's the bedroom. The bedroom is completely underwater and it's glass all around. It was so fucking cool.
Yeah.
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 That's not boring. I'm talking about the story.
The story was super boring.
But the problem with that being in that water is like her shower was also like part of the aquarium. A pervert could swim down and could look like snorkel down and look in it when she's
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
I thought the exact same thing, Kurt. Because it was like literally her shower was like next to the glass, and she could just look out and see somebody could dive down and look at her.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Does the Dalai Lama go snorkeling?
Well, I didn't know if he could wear his robes though.
Maybe they can make like a wetsuit version.
Oh, so then the concierge told Jared to go and talk to Ray about his he was called the experience director. And so she told him to go introduce himself to Ray, but Ray had her earbuds in and she's eating like fruit. She's eating fruit. And so he knocked on the door. She couldn't hear him. He walked in, startled her. She threw her fruit and it hit him. And that was their meet cute. She hit him with some fruit. And then she starts talking to him because there's this shipwreck called the Wandering Shipwreck that supposedly has like hidden gold on it.
Yeah.
And he said that he didn't know anything about it. And so she wants to swim with sharks, which did sound fun. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Well, what if you get eaten?
So do either of you guys snorkel or go?
I do.
You've seen. So my question is this: in this movie, they're snorkeling a lot, and then there's like scuba, which is like with the tank and all that. For some of the stuff that their characters were doing throughout this movie, shouldn't they have been scuba diving? Because the snorkeling wouldn't last long enough, would it?
Right. Because some of the stuff, like the stuff that they were doing, like if you were on a boat and just jumping in the water, snorkeling would be fine. Or if you were like near the shore, snorkeling would be fine. But the stuff that they were going deep down, no, they definitely needed scuba.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they made it look in certain points like they were like at the bottom of the ocean, and I'm like, I don't think you can survive with just a snorkel down there.
Yeah, no, you're totally right.
Yeah.
He's like, Jared teaches yoga and meditation. And, so then Ray's talking to her boss, and her boss is like, listen, I don't want you just to kind of like shoot out some article. I want you to actually get to know the place and experience the place. And I need you to make actual connections with this. So then this next part, I wrote, this next scene reminded me of the beginning of a porn. Because it was
Yes. Because
it was Jared who was really hot, and this other guy who was really hot, like he was a local, I guess, who was really hot.
Yeah, that was the guy from like later in the movie. What the heck was his name? Rafiq or something like that.
And so they were on the boat, and they were having a conversation, but they were also very touchy-feely.
Yeah.
In this boat.
Shakir, that was his name.
Oh. Yeah. They're very touchy-feely in this boat.
And they were, because it's a small boat, they're sort of like close together in the way they filmed it. And because it's so beautiful and sunny, like the sun is just sort of glistening off of both of them at the same time too.
Yeah. It totally reminded me of the beginning of a porn.
And they're talking about a secret. They keep talking about their secret. And I was like, are they a couple? Do I not know the plot of this movie?
Right.
I actually legitimately questioned for a second. I was like, oh, maybe this is one of the gay Hallmark movies?
Right. Or there was like a curveball thrown in.
Yeah.
I didn't get this at all.
So the next scene.
It was not that, by the way.
No. It was not.
No, that would have been interesting.
It would have been a good porn too, because they were both hot.
Yeah.
So they show Ray, she's laying in the water talking. And then you see that she's talking to her boss, and her boss is like sitting in a chair in the water. And then we find out it's actually a dream because she wakes up. And so then Ray is walking and she sees from afar, she sees Jared and she picks up binoculars and she's looking at him.
She runs inside to get binoculars. It wasn't just like she had him right there. She's like, oh, wait, I think that's the hot guy. Goes and like rummages, finds binoculars and comes back out.
Because he was in a towel.
Yeah.
Just only a towel.
Yeah.
And he busts her looking in the binoculars.
You guys are making this sound like a really sexy movie.
No, that's what I'm saying. There were moments where it like, if this were a Lifetime movie, like somebody would either be like having sex or being stalked by now.
Oh, yeah.
Like this was some Lifetime level creeping she was doing right now.
Oh, yeah.
I will say these were exceptionally good looking people.
They really were.
I mean, the woman's hot. This woman's hot. I even watched some clips of her and some other things where she's playing kind of a badass. Mm-hmm. She's like super hot in that stuff.
Oh, is she?
And the
like
guy
too?
She's been in some interesting stuff. She's actually done some cool stuff. And the guy is just pretty.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
So then she's getting ready to go hiking, but you would think by the way she was stretching, she was getting ready to run a marathon or something.
She was doing high knees.
Yeah.
And this is another scene that I'm talking about. Like they make this character out to be like she's really adventurous and does this stuff all the time, but like doesn't bring enough water.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then she knows enough about nature that there's water on leaves. So she starts dripping the leaf water into her water bottle.
But then she hears a noise and she thinks it's a black mamba. And so
What's that?
A green mamba. She thinks it's a green mamba, a snake.
Oh, she thinks it's a snake?
And so then she picks up a stick and she's going to charge the green mamba, but actually she charges into Jared's yoga class. Yeah. And my note was, oh my God, I need Jared's yoga pants.
They're very flowy.
He had a really cool pair of yoga pants on. Because as you all know, I do yoga on a daily basis, and I could use those pants for like, winter time. So then Jared's like looking at her like, what the hell is your problem, you idiot? And then he was like, I can help you get on the trail. And she was like, no. And he's like, I can call you a car. And he's like, no. She's like, no. And then he asked her out for dinner. But then he's like, well, actually, I don't want to go to dinner with you, but I want you to go to this place for dinner.
Yeah, he asked her to dinner that she could go on her own.
I think that was sort of like a wink to their conversation earlier in the movie, how she's like writing about things to do for one and how. So I don't think it was meant to be malicious. It was more like a, hey, you're comfortable doing that? Here's a great place.
I think it reminded me of that movie, My Bodyguard, where Matt Dillon says to Joan Cusack, hey, you want to go to the movies? She says, yeah, all right. And he says, well, you have a real good time while you're there.
So she runs into her friend Deborah, who she met on the plane, and she invites Deborah to go to dinner with her. So Deborah, they're at dinner, and she tells Deborah about how she's on assignment, And Deborah says the reason she was there was because her husband died 5 years ago.
I see dead people.
And so she had a list of adventures that she wanted to do now that she was a single woman on her own again.
She called it her live it list.
Yes.
I actually really liked the use, the deployment of this character in the movie, because it was a nice way to speak to a segment of the Hallmark audience that doesn't normally get spoken to much, which is people that have lost a loved one, and how it's okay to move on as just you.
Right. So then they're having dinner and chatting, and then Jared walks up to Ray, and he's like, "Hey, you want some oysters?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." So then she's sitting at the table, and then you see him swim by in the ocean.
Yeah, because it's like an aquarium outside. So he was working as the waiter also?
I think he was trying to impress her at that point.
Yeah, I think he was just like, he's the experiences director, and his experience for her is his D.
Right.
Okay.
So then she's writing on her laptop in the restaurant.
I was worried about her laptop. She kept using it when she was very close to water. There's one point where she's sitting in a chair that's just like submerged in water. Like, dude, that laptop's gonna fall in.
And so who is she talking about being introspective with? Because I have here, you're being resistant to being introspective. Was that her talking to him?
No, I don't know.
I think she was, yeah, because after he gets the oysters, he brings them in, put his shirt back on, which was rude, frankly. And then
Right, yeah.
then Deborah exits. She's like, "Oh, I'm cock blocking," so she gets out of the way and lets Jared do his thing.
And
That's
I
why
like
she
that Deborah.
Yeah.
I like that Deborah.
Oh, Deborah's a great wing person.
She knew she was cock blocking? I thought she
Yeah.
was just really
No, but she knew.
No, Deborah saw the connection before they saw it themselves.
But see,
she's quite astute then.
see, Hallmark characters take a page from Deborah's book. She saw, they're into each other, and she politely excused herself and left.
Yeah.
So she's still a cock blocker.
No, Deborah. What do you call that? Getting out of the way of the cock? What?
She's a cock enabler.
A cock enabler. Yes.
Yeah.
Deborah is a cock enabler.
Yeah, no, Deborah was cool, actually.
God bless her.
So now I guess this is a trope. The Hallmark man trope, which is they start talking, and then he tells her how he wanted to be a doctor, but then he realized that he wasn't happy, and so he moved to the Maldives, and he helps people make discoveries about themselves, and this is more fulfilling than being a doctor.
And she's like, excuse me, himbo, what medical school allowed you in? Because she's kind of surprised. She's like, so what?
The Barbizon School of Modeling Medical School.
Yeah. He wasn't like he. I didn't get that he was dumb though. He was just very, very pretty.
Right.
Do you mean you
and
played
he was nice.
a doctor?
I don't know.
What?
I know she could ask. Do you mean you played a doctor in a soap opera or something? You could do that,
right? So this is definitely an official trope now. The Hallmark man who used to have a very important job but ran away to go to the small town.
Hasn't
was he a doctor?
He it said 10 years ago, so it was probably med school. It was med school. He wasn't. He hadn't become a doctor yet. He was trying to become a doctor.
Yeah, that's
Hasn't that kind of always been a trope all along, though? Because don't they often show the guy that has moved back to the small town, and it's sort of the example that the woman who is in that small town will then see as like, oh yeah, you can like give up the big city life and still enjoy life.
I think that they're using it more because remember before it was more of his wife was dead. The guy's wife was dead and he had a little kid.
Yeah.
So I'm noticing the Hallmark men don't have little kids anymore a lot. So they're single.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes they
maybe
throw a
just-
kid in there though that's like a niece or a nephew to show that they have kind eyes.
Right,
Around
exactly. But not a lot of widowers these days. Not like they used to have.
Oh.
I guess it's out of trend.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So Ray gets a text from her boss. And then later she runs into Deborah. Deborah's afraid to go into the water. But then Deborah starts telling her about this book. Oh, Deborah's reading this book. And she's telling her about the book. And Ray was like, oh, I put that book on order. And Deborah's like, this book has been out for 3 years. And Ray realized that she had been planning on reading that book, but she just forgot about it for 3 years. And that kind of freaked her out a little bit, actually.
It seems weird. So what if the book is 3 years old?
Well, no, but she planned to like put it on
Right.
like pre-order.
She said
was
she
gonna read it.
bought it on pre-order, meaning like she just had the realization that wow, I did that 3 years ago and I still haven't taken the time to do that little thing.
Yeah.
She was going to read it 3 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
So
What other Amazon orders did I forget about?
right.
Exactly.
So then she's gonna go out on an outing with Jared, and he's teaching her how to breathe before they go diving.
And that was
Yeah.
sexy too.
Yeah.
That was what?
That was a sexy moment in the movie too, Kurt.
I didn't find it sexy. I didn't feel like these people were going. I'm telling you, to me, it felt like a universe where sex does not exist. These people were not looking like they were that they wanted to
Like
get it on with each
face,
other.
and he's like teaching her how to breathe, and they're both just like
Yeah.
staring in
Why
each
is it
other's
weird?
eyes. I actually thought it was really hot.
Yeah.
I don't. It seems like it should be, but it just seems like it doesn't. It's like it's something that doesn't exist. And I'm thinking, what's going on? Are these people like really religious? Do they? I don't know what's happening.
So then, she hops on the back of a jet ski, and then there's a whole ocean montage. There's a scuba diving, snorkeling montage.
The camera. She doesn't care about her electronics.
And then she's looking for something to do, and she hears about a sunset samba class, and so she brings Deborah with her. But then she's also talking to Jared about this shipwreck, where the divers. And Jared is saying there's a rumored shipwreck where divers found gold. So then she goes to samba class and she brings Deborah. Deborah's not good at dancing. She kind of flips out and leaves. So Ray now doesn't have a partner. So the concierge calls Jared in, and Jared comes in and he becomes her partner, and they're having a good time. And then he dips her, and the dickmatization begins. Because they have a moment.
Yeah.
So then Ray is snorkeling, and she finds something that she thinks is gold.
I think you jumped ahead there, didn't you?
Oh, sorry.
No,
Oh, she found a shell then, right?
that's pretty much
I
where
know
we're
what
at.
it is.
Oh,
she
okay,
didn't find
then-
the gold yet.
Okay.
She's hearing about the gold.
Yeah, he says they found some gold, and then she asks him to help her with her article.
And then, because she's like, this is the story I need. It'll save my job. It'll put me on the map. So I need to find this gold. So then she's having dinner with Deborah. Deborah apologizes for rushing out. And she's like, that's okay. And then Deborah was unlike a lot of other narcissists. She's unlike a lot of narcissistic sidekicks on these movies. Deborah asks her about her and how was your day and what is your assignment.
It could also be said that in that class, when Deborah exited, she was again cock enabling.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Because
liked
Deborah
that.
was replaced immediately by Jared.
That word's catching on. But yeah, I just thought she was very uncomfortable. But she does loan her. She does loan her the book.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's got to read that book.
Yes. So then, meanwhile, Jared is at he's at dinner with two friends at their house. And the female, it's a couple, male-female couple, and the female is grilling him about Ray. And then she mentions, well, what are you going to do when Monica gets back? And it's like, uh-oh.
Who's Monica?
We get the vibe that Monica's his ex-girlfriend. Because they all had a look when she said Monica.
Well,
That
not
one was-
even.
Yeah.
For a quick second, I was like, "Wait, is Monica a current girlfriend?"
Right.
Ooh.
But then
No.
that would be more Lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah. His friend was kind of hot too. That woman, she had like big eyes, like
Beautiful.
saucer eyes.
I wonder if she was a local.
It seemed like they had a lot of locals in this.
Yeah. So I wonder if she was a local.
And also, like, if they're south of India, they may have hired Indian actors that might be like big in the Bollywood community.
True. Because there were a lot of Indian actors in this.
Mhm. Which makes sense.
She was
based on where it's set.
her acting skills. She wasn't park ranger level, but not great. But she did an interesting look.
But then I also got the vibe that maybe English wasn't her first language.
Yeah.
So I got that. So with that, if English isn't your first language, you get a pass a little bit.
Okay.
Because park ranger, English is her first language, and that still didn't help her.
Oh, poor thing.
Where's that
That's not
park ranger? We haven't
possible.
heard
This
her in a
trail's
while.
been closed for 8 years. It's extremely dangerous.
Maybe still don't know how she got that role. But I remember I did give an argument that she did give a good performance because her words were clear.
Yes, that's exactly what you said.
So now, you know what I wonder though? Because I've shot a couple of things since we first heard her acting chops.
Yeah.
And both of the things that I shot, the director would sit us down, and if he didn't think we were doing it right, he'd sit us down and say, hey, this is what we're going for. So let's do it again. I wonder if the director sat her down.
Possibly, but
No.
I also in defense of Lifetime and Hallmark movies in this regard, they have a very tight schedule. And even though we have been harping on the park ranger for a couple of years now, it's literally one line in that movie, and that line is only needed to let the audience know that, hey, girl, you're in danger.
Yeah,
Well-
we've been saying it so much that the park ranger's line is going to be in my obituary.
Yeah.
But I'll say this. No, I think they were in a rush. I don't think they could get anything better out of this woman. They probably tried and said, I don't know what else to do.
Like, how many takes do you think they did?
Probably 10.
No, I don't think they had the time to do that.
I want the director of this Lifetime movie to be like Stanley Kubrick and doing like 142 takes.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm seeing our friend Meredith Thomas on Thursday. I'm going to ask Meredith how many takes they normally give them.
3.
Ask
I'm
her,
gonna
ask her
ask her-
specifically someone that's of 5 and under.
I'm gonna ask Meredith when I see her on Thursday.
Okay.
I know someone who works. I have an answer for for Stanley Kubrick fans out there. I spoke with somebody who worked with Stanley Kubrick.
Okay.
What do you say?
And they said it was a woman who worked with on the set. You know who she was? So do you know the actress Vanessa Shaw?
No.
She played, I think that's her name. She was.
I know Wendy Shaw.
So she was the prostitute. I don't know who Wendy Shaw is.
I know who Wendy Shaw is.
Who's that?
She was in Where the Boys Are, 1984.
She starred in a zillion sitcoms in the 80s and 90s and was kind of a female Ted McGinley. Like, wouldn't come into an existing show, but she was in a zillion shows that did not last. But she still works now. She does the voice of the mom on American Dad.
Wendy Shaw? This
Yeah.
is Vanessa Shaw.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, so I met Vanessa Shaw's her mom. So she was on the set. So Vanessa Shaw was the prostitute in Eyes Wide Shut. It's her mom. I said to her mom, why'd Stanley Kubrick shoot things hundreds of times? She said, because he didn't put the work in ahead of time. He would shoot it and like adjust the light a little bit, shoot it again, adjust the light a little bit, shoot it again, adjust the camera a little bit. So he was making like adjustments throughout, through each time he'd shoot it. So that's what's going on there.
So now Ray is snorkeling and she finds a coin in the ocean.
Yeah.
And then she has another dream and the boss shows up again. And then she's in her underwater room taking a bubble bath and she's reading the book. And I wrote, I hate reading in bubble baths because my neck, my neck gets tired.
And you're gonna get the book wet.
Yeah.
You are actually way, way ahead. They have not found the gold yet. They don't find the gold till like way later in the movie.
Oh no, but she found like a fool's gold.
The one by herself. Okay.
Yeah.
That was the scene where I questioned the snorkeling versus scuba diving, because for that to be at the bottom of the water where you found gold that nobody else had discovered before, you would need to be pretty deep into the water.
Yeah. So that was when she thought it was gold, and then she showed him, and he's like, "It's not gold." So then she runs into Deborah, and they go to yoga again. And I'm happy to report the yoga pants that he was wearing that time, I have them.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, maybe that's the same brand.
I got those I got mine from Amazon.
It might be the same brand of the ones you bought, though.
It could be. Because it looks exactly like the ones I have.
I do yoga, but I don't have yoga. I didn't really know they had yoga pants for men. Because I never really see men. I'm the only man in the yoga class usually. I have
yoga pants in every color. And I normally do yoga at 9 or 10 in the morning, and it's me and a bunch of housewives.
Yeah. And similar kind of pants to what he was wearing. They're very flowy, like a lot of room for the leg to move around. They're not tapered at the bottom.
And then while I'm at yoga, before the class starts, there's a group of ladies who are a little older who talk about going to the pot store after they do yoga.
LA.
Because now that it's legal and acceptable, housewives go and get their gummies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So Deborah, they do the yoga, and Deborah actually loved the yoga class, which is a new thing for her, and she wanted to then try the meditation as well. And so then Ray and Jared come up with a deal. And she's like, can you help me find the coins? I need the article. I need to save my job. And this, if I could do this, it's going to help me save my job and save my career. And
get me out of this cult, Clarity and Connection.
Right.
Yeah.
So then what she does is, so they're having like excursions, so they like diving excursions to look for the coins, and she signs up for like every excursion. So then there's her excursion montage. And why is Jared fully booked for 6 weeks?
Oh, for his cult for Clarity and Connection.
Okay.
Because people come there specifically for not just all the visual beauty around, but they're coming there to like become one with self kind of thing.
So then he's talking to his buddy, the concierge, and the concierge is like, I know you like her. You need to lighten up. You got to remember, she's not Monica. She's a different person.
She also basically said, hey, you've got to help her find what she is looking for herself.
Right.
And said struggling students need extra attention. So basically saying, go forth and bang.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah. So then
Maybe
she shows Jared the coin that she found, and Jared's like, "That's not real." And he's like, and Jared's like, "I'll help you search." So then he's humming this song, and she's like, "Is that the blah blah blah?"
The Gimme Fridays.
What is it called?
The Gimme Fridays.
Is that the
Gimme.
Fridays?
I thought you said the Juni Fridays, like there's a gimme.
No, she said is that the Gimme Fridays? Meaning like that's some band. I looked it up. It's not real. But
Right.
the Gimme Fridays, and he's like, oh yeah, it's my favorite band from college or whatever.
Right.
Well, we should form a band and call ourselves the Gimme Fridays.
So then we see Ray and Deborah, and they're drinking green drinks and hanging out, having a little girl time. And Deborah comments that she likes Jared's abs.
Yeah.
His ass?
Abs.
Oh, his abs, yeah.
And so then they're laying out in the sun. Deborah's got cucumber slices on her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And Deborah is like, listen, Ray, you need just come on. Don't be a dumbass. Fate is putting you two together. So you need to just lean into those. So then she meets up, Ray meets up with Jared, and they go to the farmer's market. And there's a farmer's market montage. And then they run into Jared's friend. And
Czar.
his hot friend.
Well, they ran
And-
into Zara first,
that's right. They ran into Zara.
who
They
like
ran into
invited him
Zara.
to her place for dinner, I think.
Right. Yeah. And then after that, they go to the beach and run into his hot porn friend.
Shakir.
The friend who he's going to have do the porn with.
Yeah. Well,
Well, if you're watching the movie that way, because what I saw, they have little turtles.
Yeah. And that's where the hot porn friend was.
Turtle.
yeah.
Turtles.
Did you guys hear that story that it got confirmed? There was a long-standing rumor that Dana Carvey was shooting this movie Master Disguise, and he was a turtle man. So he's dressed as big like turtle shell with a little head, and they had to do, and they were shooting around like 9/11, so they did like a prayer circle. They said a prayer for 9/11. He's dressed as a big turtle, and he confirmed this rumor. He said it was true.
Oh, God.
Turtle. The whole movie
So that movie never came out?
No,
Yeah,
it came out.
Oh.
It was like the 2002. But the turtle man, he's walking around like a big turtle. He goes into the turtle club, so he dresses up a turtle, and all he says, he keeps saying, "Turtle, turtle."
Did that movie do well?
No.
Yes, it did. It did
giant
well at the box
flop.
office.
It's a giant
What?
flop.
No, it did well at the box office. Look it up. It's critically like it's like 1% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it actually made money at the box office.
I remember during 9/11, and this was back when I was like, drinking and doing other things. I remember my friend and I got really stoned, and we planned to get really stoned, and then went and saw Glitter.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if it was meant to be funny, but it was one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
I never saw. I never saw the whole thing.
Because it was the two of us. It was only the two of us in the theater, and I laughed the entire time.
Okay, so the movie grossed $43.4 million on a $16 million budget. So it made a profit, but I wouldn't say it was a hit.
No, but it made more money than I thought it made.
Yeah.
Turtle.
So speaking of turtles,
They're little baby turtles. These
little baby turtles that were really cute. And so what they were gonna do is they were gonna guide the turtles back into the ocean, but they couldn't touch them. So they had to kind of guide them to the ocean, and then like years later, when it's time for the turtles to lay eggs, the turtles are gonna come back to that very spot to lay their eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gave them both these black pearl bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave them both the bracelet, and he goes, when this bracelet breaks, that means that you're in love. So then they go to Zara's house for dinner. They talk about the treasure. It's actually a really fun dinner party. And then it ends up being too late, so they can't catch the boat home. So Zara invites them to sleep over. And Zara actually likes her. Zara like tells him she's cool. You know, don't mess us up with her.
Well, she also kind of cornered Ray, and she started talking about Monica. Ray, because I don't think Ray knew about Monica at this point.
Oh, that's right, she did.
Yeah, and Ray's like, "Oh, tell me about her." I thought you would have enjoyed that moment last. That was very Snoop-worthy.
You know, pumping for information.
Yeah.
So then she has another dream. The boss is like, "How's it going?" And then the boss is like, he's wearing you down. Jared's working on you. And then they go into the ocean, and Jared's like, I'm going to take you somewhere, but you got to promise not to say anything. And he takes her to the ship.
Big mistake.
And she finds a coin. And then, what were you going to say?
Bob Woodward and the other guy from All the President's Men.
Bernstein?
Woodward and Bernstein did not tell their wives who Deep Throat was.
Oh.
But this guy is...
Maybe this guy already knows who Deep Throat is.
We don't know who Deep Throat is?
No, maybe this guy knows who Deep Throat is.
Because I got to tell you, I have a
neither one of you is going over both of your heads.
Oh,
no.
I'm saying maybe the guy in this movie can show her the shipwreck because he knows who Deep Throat is.
Yeah.
That sounds dirty.
It is.
I get it.
Well, I mean, looking at him makes you want to do dirty things.
Yeah.
It really does. And when it comes to Woodward and Bernstein, what I was going to say is I have a husband who has a very big mouth. So, like, if I was in that situation, I wouldn't tell him either. Very big mouth. Very big mouth.
Oh, yeah?
Anyway.
I just started watching Ozark finally, and I'm amazed at how many people they get worn down and they just tell people what they're doing. Like,
I know, right?
I like Ozark.
Oh, it's great. I don't know why I waited so long.
What season are you on?
1. Oh no, 2 now. Season 2 now.
Okay, so I was fascinated with the thing in the first episode when they put those people in the barrels.
Yeah. Oh, they did that on Breaking Bad.
Like they put them in barrels.
It's not just in barrels. Yeah. It's what's in the barrel. It's
like acid.
It's that acid that like melts it, and there's no signs of any remains.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of practical advice in these shows.
Mm-hmm. Well, in Breaking Bad, you learn that you can't put that in porcelain because or whatever a bathtub is made out of. Yeah.
Fall through the roof. Fall through the ceiling. So then after like they finish their excursion, she's talking to Jared, and he's like, I trust you with this. Please don't write about this. And then she takes the coin and throws it back into the ocean.
But not until they first take a selfie at his suggestion, by the way. Suggests like, don't you want to take a picture so you remember it? Us with this gold.
Right. And this is important later. And I have a warning for people.
Because she said she's not going to post it. It's just, it's private. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So then she gets back and Deborah's like, oh, you look different. What's up with you?
Duh.
And Deborah's very encouraging, like, hey, you need to go for this. And
wait, maybe she is actual Deep Throat because she is a writer.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
She's technically a journalist.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Talk amongst yourself. I'm going to find out who Deep Throat is.
It's Diane Sawyer, allegedly.
No,
really?
look up who it is.
Have you ever heard that rumor?
That's allegedly Diane
The
Sawyer.
Diane Sawyer is Deep Throat?
I'm looking it up.
No.
It is.
That makes me like her even more. I've always loved Diane Sawyer.
Okay, it is Linda.
No, not Linda Lovelace.
Linda Lovelace. That's who it
No,
is.
that's Debbie. Isn't she Debbie Does Dallas?
And I know she's Deep
Hold on.
Throat as well.
Oh, got it.
And The Devil and Miss Jones. Not that I've seen those movies or anything.
Harry Reams. Yeah, no, there's a whole article about this. Dude, this is really more interesting than I thought. The whole Watergate.
You're reading
was.
about Harry
Yeah.
Reams.
No,
Harry
the
Reams is
Deep
porn.
Throat would meet with Bob Woodward and Harry Reams and had a clitoris in the back of her throat. Anyway, we don't like to get into too much far into this is not a history podcast, so.
Anyway, so Deborah is like, I'll see you at the dance tonight. And then the boss calls and Ray sees the phone ringing and she just doesn't take the call.
Ooh, she's gonna get
So
fired.
there's nothing I hate more than a silent disco. And this is what this dance was, a silent disco. Have you guys ever been to a silent disco?
I've never been to one because I don't fully understand the point.
Right. Well, yeah, there is
No.
no point. It's just like, you have your earbuds on, but then, you take them off and people just look like buffoons dancing around.
Yeah. I mean, I get the thing of like, oh, you want to like really connect to the music, but part of what's fun about dancing is being able to like meet a person, have a conversation with a person, share a connection beyond your feet moving on a floor with a person.
Start making out.
Yeah. And also whoever is doing continuity that day didn't notice that not all of the extras had earbuds in.
Right.
Sloppy work.
Yeah.
There's nothing like making out on a dance floor, like meeting somebody and just making out with them.
Love it. It's my favorite thing to do in the world.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Is it like a stranger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll make out and just walk away.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was this is trashy, but whatever, I'll admit it. One time I was at Mickey's and I was walking back towards the bathroom. I wasn't back there yet, but these two guys were coming out, and this one guy's like, "Oh, you're cute. Let's make out." I was like, "All right." Start making out, and his friend's like, "Oh, I want some too." So then I made out with the friend.
Oh, I remember those days.
This is wild.
I remember those days. I've been married for too long.
Uh-oh.
I've been married a long time. I miss those days. They were fun. Anyway.
But you like being married.
I really like
so.
being married.
Yeah.
I like being married. I do actually really do, but those days were fun. I tell ya. Especially at Mickey's or at the Abbey.
I never went to Mickey's back in the day before the fire.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I used to go a lot on Sundays.
Yeah.
Because they used to have dollar margaritas, which, you go on Sunday, you drink a bunch. You went to Motherlode, then you went to Mickey's, then you went to Rage, and then, you'd promise yourself you'd go home at a decent hour, and you look at your watch, and it's like 2.
Yeah.
Or the lights come on.
This is all in LA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you did this, so this was a certain era, right? This wasn't in the last 5 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
Would you ever see, without mentioning names, would you ever see closeted actors? You'd be like,
Yes.
whoa, I didn't know that
Oh,
person
okay.
was.
All the
Yeah.
time.
Because I wasn't really going out back then.
I was.
I was kind of going out once people started coming out of the closet in larger numbers, and then you would see them out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you see all sorts of people.
Yeah. Now you see everyone out.
Or you see you would see the female actors with her gay best friends out.
Mm-hmm.
That happened
Okay.
a lot too. Because that's where I saw Oksana Bayul in Revolver.
Who?
Oksana Bayul.
Okay. I don't know who that is.
She's nice gayer. And I saw her in Revolver once because she was with a gay friend, with a buddy.
Revolver's where I cornered Maureen McCormick from the Brady Bunch in the bathroom.
Right. And that's where
for a photo, I should say.
Was it a co-ed bathroom at least?
It's a co-ed sink area.
Or did you barge into the ladies' room?
Yeah,
Marsha.
It's like, Marsha, I need a selfie now.
Right. Anyway, and the song that they were dancing to sounded kind of dumb too. Like, gimme, baby.
Yeah.
So, but then a slow song comes on, and they start slow dancing, and she's getting into it, and then a woman walks into the room, and she looked kind of like a bitch, and I was like, I bet that's Monica. Yeah. And he looks over, he sees her, and leaves Ray on the dance floor. Like, gotta go, bye. And it was Monica.
Another reason this disco was super lame is they were literally drinking out of wine glasses with straws.
Yes.
And those were not like Aperol spritzes.
Right. Or, I mean, because like if you drink red wine, I know a lot of people who when they drink red wine, they drink it through straw.
That's
so it's
tacky. That's not a thing you do at a resort like that, though.
Oh, no, I know. Or like
wine with a straw.
People that don't, because they don't want to like get purple on their teeth, or especially like if they have veneers.
Yeah, I guess you could do that.
Oh, so he just leaves her on the dance floor, and she's like, "Fuck this, I'm leaving," and I don't blame her. I'd be pissed too.
I like the reason why Monica was there. He tells her that Monica's getting married and is introducing her fiance to all her ex-boyfriends.
Right.
No, I think he said all her old coworkers.
Our coworkers.
Oh, I thought he said
no. She said all her old coworkers.
Oh,
we don't know that either. She could be.
Well, let's say she had 4 boyfriends in her life with his fiance. She was traveling around introducing his fiance to every ex-boyfriend she had, and I thought that was a little weird, unnecessary.
Do you think that that's Monica asking for that, or do you think that's the fiance asking for that?
Like, oh my God!
Yeah, like I want to see that.
Yeah,
that would be troublesome. Oh boy!
No, have you ever done that though? I like gone to somewhere and like met all the exes because my husband lived in Russia for like almost 10 years. So we went to Russia and I met like all of the ex-boyfriends.
I think in the gay community, it's more common to, if not stay friends with an ex, at least you're going to cross paths with them, so you learn how to live with it.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Do you have to hear about exes? I've had girlfriends who, oh man, I knew like everything about these exes. It's like, shut up. Obsessively. Oh, this one guy, the lawyer. This one girl, she had the lawyer, the drummer. It was like she had like these names for everybody. Ugh.
The lawyer, the drummer.
Yeah, the lawyer. And somebody,
Well, this guy,
Australian. The Australian.
Jared would be the cult leader.
Right.
I was the actor.
Actually, he'd be the hot cult leader.
But you know what I liked about Jared? He found her and apologized. I liked that. And I like that they didn't like stretch this whole thing out over days. I like that they put a pin on it like very quickly.
Mm-hmm. You have to. You have to move on from stuff like that.
So then he says, "Hey, let's eat," and he takes her to this huge, like, really cool nighttime beach setup.
Wait, back up for one quick sec, because we were saying that Monica wasn't a hoe. Well, maybe she was, because I don't remember what it was Jared said, but he heavily implied that Monica was cheating on him.
What did he say?
Because he said something about like, I thought we were on this path together, and it turns out she was on she was on another path all along with someone else.
I gotta say that if she was cheating on him, I want to see what the other guy looks like.
Well, maybe she's not so much looks. Maybe she's with someone who makes her laugh. That's what Jessica Rabbit said. She was with Roger Rabbit because he made her laugh.
Well,
And that guy wasn't a Scream.
but she was born that. She was drawn that way.
Yeah.
You're saying
That guy
that
was really
Roger
cool.
Rabbit isn't hot? Disagree.
Well,
Ah,
everybody has their kink.
it's like everybody has their thing.
I've got a thing for guys that look like bunny rabbits and sound like Laverne's roommate after Shirley moved out.
This has truly been an Easter themed podcast.
Oh, so then they're talking and they say something at the same time. And
What do they
then
say?
I forget what it was. They said something though at the same time. And then he was saying how like he has friends, but the problem is on an island in like a situation like that, people are very transient. So they come and go all the time. And then, so then she was helping him with an idea for his cult. and then they came up with an idea of, hey, well, why don't you feature the cult in different places and then have
Like
the-
localized versions of the cult.
Yeah.
It's not a cult, by the way. We just are calling it a cult. Although it kind of was.
Becoming-
Well, because he wants to go around the world and have like all these like mindfulness adventures that they do, all like under the Clarity in Connection brand. Like,
Isn't this what the Dolly Parton? I was going to say
The Dolly-
That's what the Dolly Parton. The Dolly. The Dalai Lama. Isn't that kind of what he does? He goes around the world. and
His
spreads
name
his
is now the
peacefulness.
Dolly Parton.
So this guy's taking over for the Dolly Parton, the Dalai Lama.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a
he's,
need.
he's going to teach mindfulness lessons and try and get little boys to suck his tongue.
Right.
This is an opening. Didn't he used to go around with Richard Gere? Didn't Richard Gere used to go around with the?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
because he was a big Tibetan rights person, Richard Gere. I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, so then they started doing the samba, and then he kissed her, and I wrote, she is now officially dickmatized because he kissed her.
Yeah.
It's official.
And so then her boss calls, and her boss is like, oh my God, you are amazing. Because I saw the pictures of, the selfie that you took with the shipwreck and the coin. And her boss had like a shared account, right? It's a shared account.
It was like, basically there was a line of dialogue earlier in the movie from Shelley, the boss, saying like, oh, and like, don't send me any work, just upload it to this shared drive because I'll be looking at everything.
Yeah.
So it turns out when they took that selfie with the gold that wasn't going to be shown to anyone, that automatically uploaded to the cloud drive.
Yeah.
And so Shelley saw it.
That cloud's a problem.
Yeah. And so Ray was like, I can't write that. And Shelley was basically like, get it done, bitch. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, you discovered a shipwreck with gold. That's a giant news story, dumbass.
Right. Like you better get on that computer.
But isn't a better story about how she found love on the island?
So then,
I mean, you were
The
bored
next-
by it.
right?
Isn't it a wonderful story?
So the next day, Jared sees her and he's pissed because he's like, your editor blocked a bunch of rooms and you told her about the ship. And then I kind of felt sorry for Ray because Ray's like, no, it wasn't like that,
He didn't look as pretty. He had a bit of a frown, a little bit of a furrowed brow.
Well, anger makes you ugly.
Yeah.
Anger makes you ugly. So Jared is pissed. Deborah talks to Ray, and Deborah's like, "You need to just go talk to him tell him what happened, you know? And and then Ray comes to the realization, she's like, you know what? I'm tired of being alone. I don't want to be alone anymore. I want to be in a relationship. I don't want to have a table for one anymore. And so, who said when love reaches out, reach back? Someone said.
Deborah said that to Ray.
Right. So, she goes looking for him. He is nowhere to be found. He left on a boat. And she was actually leaving that day. And so she tried to look for him some more. The concierge is like, well, he left, but he told me to give you this. And he gave her a pearl, like one of the pearls that they found. And so then we see, then she talks to her boss again, and then she says that she wrote a different article.
Yeah, she basically says, I'm not going to write the column you want me to write, but I've got a better one because I'm a new person.
And then we see the plane come in, and then her bracelet breaks, which means
she's found love.
She's in love.
Yeah,
she's in love.
And so
and dickmatized.
And she's so then
must be frustrated.
So is this the part where she talks to the boss, or the boss talked to her after she finds him, right?
Boss talks to her after she finds him. So she finds him. They tell each other they're falling in love.
We see the plane leaving, and it looks like she flew off. And then we see him on the beach, and then we see her walking up towards him. And then he's like, you know what? I can't help it. I love you. And she's like,
I love you.
I love you too.
I love you.
And then she talks to the boss on the phone, and she's expecting to get fired. And the boss is like, oh my God, actually, your article was great, and we're going to use it. And I think it's better than gold, because remember, the boss told her to make connections with people, and her article was basically about making connections and the connection that she made.
Wow. But some article, she met a guy.
Yeah, but you got to look at him.
She says, no matter where you go, there you are.
Right.
I've heard that.
I believe it's on some
Many times.
wall hangings and pillows that you can get at Home Goods.
And the nanny said it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The nanny said that, and she also said you only get once to make a first impression.
They put that on pillows? It's a little distressing.
Why is it distressing?
Well, it's a reality, I guess. No matter where you go, there you are. It's like you're trying to, obviously what it means is if you're trying to escape your problems, like you can't. You could run off somewhere and go live somewhere else and hide from the world, but you still have you are.
Yeah. So you got to deal with that stuff to be able to go anywhere. That's what it's saying. That's not dark. That's real.
Right. That's real life.
That can be hopeful.
Well, I don't know. Maybe if you have demons that you can't control, I guess maybe that's what they're trying to say. You got to, you can't just run away from it.
You can't run away from yourself.
I think that's what you guys just said, actually. So.
Yeah.
So then they are what happens? It shows them they're eating, right? Or
well, they make out.
Yeah, they made out.
So, yeah, you got the new article, Table for Two. He wants to travel the world with her.
Yeah.
And she can work remotely.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
And he's going to be opening his cult
smooch.
Everywhere.
They smooch. And
got to franchise that multi-level marketing scheme or whatever it's going to be.
Different points in this movie too, they're like, it's like they're giving a travel log, like a character just starts explaining things, like we're watching like a National Geographic documentary or something.
Right. That's pretty much it, right?
Well,
Yeah.
at the end of the movie, it says, in memory of Ron Leach.
Now, who's Ron Leach, Kurt? I know you Googled him.
He was a casting director.
Oh. Okay.
Who passed away.
Probably
Oh.
cast
This movie was-
Hallmark movies, I'm assuming.
This movie was in memory. Well, the casting in this movie was very good.
Yeah.
They were gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I found the movie boring,
Yeah.
the guy, Jared, and the actual scenery made up for it.
Yeah, Jared, the other guys, the chemistry between them two, it was visually beautiful. Like I was bored, but I wanted to keep watching anyway because it was very pretty.
Yeah. So I guess that what we learned is if your movie's going to be boring as fuck, at least make it good to look at.
It was pretty. Yeah, there's definitely, we've watched some movies, like we saw Bruges in some movie a couple years ago. I still like to go there.
Oh, were they eating chocolate? When Lacey was eating chocolate.
Oh, it was a beautiful area.
I think in general, if a major plot point of the movie has to do with location, like if the location is basically another character in the story, they need to film there. 'Cause like when they've done like movies about being in Beverly Hills and it's clearly not filmed in LA,
It's Vancouver.
yeah, stuff like that. Like it's a major character in the movie. It's important to the movie.
Right. Because yeah, I mean they did their job because I now totally want to go to the Maldives.
Same.
Oh, I'd like to go as well.
We should have like a group trip to the Maldives.
Yeah.
That would be exciting.
As long as we can stay in that suite.
Yeah.
I want the underwater room if I'm doing it.
Well, remember they were saying that the room was supposed to be for 9 people.
Yeah, it was massive.
Yeah,
Okay, that'll work.
Okay, so 16 grand for a few days split amongst 9 people actually wouldn't be that expensive. That's pretty cheap.
No.
Oh,
'Cause-
okay.
Yeah, because that's she's like this room was meant for 9 people, and then Ray was like, no, I travel alone.
Well, I don't want any of this communal food bullshit if we're going to do this
I
trip.
agree.
Oh no,
One time
I
I went-
don't believe in communal food.
Same.
One time I did a bunch of us were staying in a house, and I opted out of the communal food, and other people opted in. And then I looked over and saw someone eating my banana. I was like, "Excuse me, that's not how this is supposed to work."
That is one of the reasons why I don't love Palm Springs the way everyone does, because everyone's like, oh, we'll get a house and we'll cook and we'll do all this. It's like, so that sounds like being at home. Like if I'm on vacation in any form, I don't want to clean up after myself and I don't want to cook for myself.
That's why you get your own house and then just go out and eat.
Yeah, but this place, if in the 9, the place that sleeps 9. You don't need communal food because you've got a resort with all-inclusive packages.
Right.
Oh, good.
And if I'm out of town, even if I'm in Palm Springs and we have a place there, I still don't cook. We still eat out all the time. Because that's, for me, it's like, why would I come all the way here? And yeah, I know it's my house, but why would I come here to cook? Yeah, we totally eat out all the time.
Heat up some ramen noodles and.
But in Palm Springs, if you're gonna, you better eat before you better go before 9 o'clock, or you're not eating shit.
That was in my 20s, maybe like early mid. I would eat like a ramen noodles, and it cost like 25 cents.
Yeah,
I'd have a meal for 25 cents.
Well, you get what you pay for.
I shouldn't be eating that stuff now.
No.
There's a little bit of sodium in those things.
Quite a bit of sodium.
Just a tad. Just a tad.
25 cents worth.
Anyway, you know where you don't need to pay 25 cents? If you want to get a hold of me, you can find me on my website, leskirkendallbarrett.com, or on Instagram at KirkendallJason.
Please, wherever you listen to us, rate and review us. Give us 5 stars. It helps more people find the podcast. We are all on Facebook, Instagram. It is Lifetime of Hallmark Podcast. No, it's just Lifetime of Hallmark Podcast. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Big Shot Jason. Kurt.
Oh, I'm going to be in Indy Fringe, the Indianapolis.
Oh, you're going to be there?
I'm going to be there the last weekend. Are you going to be there?
Kurt, I'm going to be there the first 2.
No, I'm just the last. It'll be the last weekend, so we won't be there together.
How dare you?
I'll be doing The Jester of All Maldives.
Which I saw and I loved it. I got a little teary-eyed. It was a very good show.
Oh, it's very nice. Now, are you going to do your show, The Real Black Swan?
No, I'm doing a different show.
Oh.
I'm doing, so I wrote a show in 2020, but a little something happened in 2020 and the world shut down. And I realized I have a show that I never toured with. So I'm just going to tour with that. So I didn't have to write shit this year.
What's the name of that show?
What show, Les?
Oh, that show's called Climbing My Family Tree.
Oh,
and it's the story about how I did Ancestry.com and found out that my family is like completely biracial. And so I went around meeting different white relatives. And it's juxtaposed with the story about how my grandfather confessed to me that he killed someone.
Oh.
I saw that show. That was a very good show. I believe you did that on Fringe live stream.
I did it online.
Yeah.
In 2020. Yeah. Well, yeah. So I'll be there. So you'll be there for the first 2 weekends. I'll be there for the third. Indie Fringe. It's in August. So
yes. So you got plenty of time, people, to get your tickets.
All right.
Yes.
Which I've had a couple of times. Somebody like finding out through podcasts and stuff and coming to the show. So that does work.
Of course.
All right.
And now Kurt needs to go to bed and I need to go eat.
Same.
And I don't know what
Eating
you're doing,
part.
Jason. You going out tonight?
No. Eating. I'm gonna eat too.
Monday.
Anyway. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.